Humans have a transcendental need for God. We always had. This is why there's been a bunch of gods created, and this is why there's been a bunch of religions created over time. I'm, of course, a proponent that there is one true God, Jesus Christ. But in any case, you have to understand that humans have this transcendental need. There's literally a part of your brain, I forgot what it's called, but there's literally a part of your brain essentially dedicated to religion. In order to get closer to God, you have to fill this part of your brain with Jesus. You have to acknowledge truly and fully, with your mouth, mind, and soul, that Jesus fills the transcendental standard. Jesus is King. Jesus Christ is the Son of God that died for my sins. When you do this, you acknowledge God not only as your Savior, because that's the surface level. Christians always say, oh, just read, pray, read the Bible, pray, and accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. But this is a really low IQ way of saying what I'm going to say in this video. And advice like that wouldn't work for someone like me. What I'm saying is a little bit more high level. You've probably never seen this from a Christian YouTuber. When you fill in Jesus into this transcendental part of your brain, it's not just you saying it. You truly do understand and believe. You understand what it entails. God is explanation for things beyond what humans can see and what humans can even do. For example, the source of everything that exists, the universe, where did it come from? Why does the universe exist rather than not? Well, God. Why do morals exist? Why do I feel right and wrong? God. We're going to talk more about morals later. It's very important. What happens after you die? God. All of these things that humans naturally wonder about. When you put the trust in God, because a lot of Christians say, well, just put all of your burdens on God. And they quote the Bible and whatever, but really what burdens means is stuff that humans can understand and what humans will never understand. Put that on God. That is God's domain. And when you take this other position of atheism, which is without God, and I know a lot of you guys who are Christians are actually atheists because you haven't done this, you end up being very nihilistic, because when you don't fully acknowledge Jesus as being the transcendental source for everything and the answer for all the burdens humans can't deal with on their own, your morale drops. Your will to live is going to lower. And I know a lot of Asians will be like, oh, well, that's not true. I love my life and all this other stuff. Shut up, retard, okay? The truth is, what atheists do, and this is what a lot of powerful minds have talked about atheism, without this transcendental source in your brain, it's essentially just you're gonna turn something else into your religion. This part of your brain needs to be filled. It can't be left blank. You're just gonna make something else a religion. Why do you think so many atheists do all this weird stuff on the streets with the rainbow flags and have cult-like communities? Because I've had atheists make videos about me, and I will check my comment section, check the comments on their videos, and 90% of the comments, I would say, are kind of like hive-minded cultists, to be honest. It's a bit interesting. They always talk the most about Christians and religious people being crazy, but from what I can see, they seem to be the most like an angry swarm of hornets. It's because they have filled this gap in their brain with something other than Jesus, something other than God. Instead, it's, depending on the person, it's completely different, and this leads to forms of hysteria. This is why a lot of atheists get very angry when you talk about God. I'm talking about generalities, not all atheists, but a lot of them. Now, that being said, okay, if you ever done this methodically, right, the reason why, because you probably heard, like, pray, read the Bible, etc. The reason why that doesn't work for you is because you haven't done what I said earlier. It's kind of like when you pray and read the Bible, it can work, but more often than not, it doesn't. A lot of people say, oh, well, I can't go closer to God because he doesn't accept my prayers or whatever. The reason why you don't feel like you're talking to God or communicating with God, or you don't feel like you're close with God, is because you're picking up a phone, okay? Imagine an old phone, an old landline phone. You're grabbing it and going like this. Hey, yeah, so yesterday I ate some biscuits. It was pretty cool. Hey, you forgot to dial in the phone number, bro. You're talking to no one. Because you yourself aren't actually putting in an effort. You don't even understand. Putting this transcendental source in your brain, I'm going to keep talking about it, this is so important. Putting this source in your brain is like dialing in a phone number. Okay, when you fully acknowledge it, when you fully understand it, you're going to be on the phone with God. Okay? Think about it like that. You're actually going to be communicating with him. And like I said earlier, when you don't have this number dialed in, you're a bit like an atheist at the end of the day. Even if you do think Jesus rose from the dead, you have to fully acknowledge Jesus as the fill-in for this transcendental source you have in your brain. That source is dedicated towards God. That part of your brain exists for a reason. And we're going to go back to morale and morals. You probably don't feel close to God, partially also because you jerked off to a last girl yesterday and you feel bad about it. You feel like, how can God accept me? How can God love me? How can God do this, etc.? How can I communicate with God when I'm such a depraved person, when I'm so bad? There's two things. One, when you put God as a source, Jesus as a source, you understand that no matter your flaws, he loves you. That's why he came, to die for the sins of humanity. You not thinking you're good enough is really just a sign that you don't actually have Jesus in your head. You don't have Jesus filling in this part of your brain. Because if you did, you would understand that's the case. You understand all these things you're saying about yourself aren't true. And also, when you understand God as the source of everything, you're going to be thinking about God 24/7. When I go throughout my day, I think about God and Jesus many times. The reason why is because I understand everything at the end of the day. The transcendental source of everything that exists is God. How can you not think about God all day when you understand that? And when you think about God all day, then of course you're going to be close to God. That's as close as you can get. With all that being said, Christian men need to get closer with God. And you know what? Everything I talk about, working out, making money, etc. I believe when you get really close to God, and it also goes for learning as well, you are going to find these things a lot easier. Because you understand, it's more than just me. It's about the people around me and the transcendental source that's looking down upon me. That's very powerful. If you want to join this movement, building back Christian men, click the link in the description to join the Discord. Follow me on Instagram, like all my posts, because I am amazing. Subscribe for more amazing videos. Place subscription to change your life. Those are my call to actions. See you next video.